Have you ever wondered what drives someone to seek ultimate control, to bend the entire world to their will? What compels a person to believe they are above all others, destined to rule with an iron fist? Well, when we look at Lord Voldemort, his insatiable craving for absolute power stems primarily from two profound aspects: a deep, crippling fear of death and an unwavering belief in his own supreme magical superiority. First, that fear of death is paramount. Unlike most wizards who accept their mortality, Tom Riddle viewed death not as a natural end, but as a shameful weakness, an unacceptable insult to his exceptional nature. This obsession led him down the darkest path imaginable, researching and ultimately creating Horcruxes. Horcruxes are incredibly dark magical objects designed to split the soul, tethering a piece of it to the living world, thereby granting the creator a form of immortality. He believed that by becoming immortal, he would overcome the greatest limitation of existence and solidify his unparalleled power. His traumatic early life in a Muggle orphanage, devoid of love and belonging, also played a crucial role. This abandonment fostered a desperate need for control, a desire to never again be vulnerable or powerless. He harbored intense hatred for his Muggle father, who he felt had abandoned him, and anything associated with that perceived weakness, including mortality itself. Second, his conviction in his own magical supremacy was absolute. Descended from Salazar Slytherin, one of the founders of Hogwarts, Voldemort believed himself to be pure-blooded and destined to lead. He saw magic not just as a skill, but as an inherent mark of superiority, justifying his contempt for Muggles and so-called mudbloods, or Muggle-born witches and wizards. He genuinely believed that the wizarding world should be purged of all perceived impurities, with himself at its unquestioned head, a vision he would enforce with merciless authority. His inability to comprehend or experience love, a consequence of his conception under a love potion and his loveless upbringing, meant he valued only what he could dominate through force, seeing emotion as a flaw rather than a strength. To achieve this terrifying vision of dominance, Lord Voldemort meticulously pursued several strategies. He delved deeper into the dark arts than perhaps any wizard before him, mastering ancient and forbidden spells to inflict fear and pain. He carefully gathered a formidable army of loyal followers, known as the Death Eaters, who shared his fanatical beliefs and helped execute his brutal agenda. His ultimate goal was to eradicate all opposition and establish a pure-blood wizarding society, where his rule was absolute and unchallenged. It is fascinating to consider that the very act of naming himself Lord Voldemort was a deliberate shedding of his Muggle identity, Tom Riddle, signifying a rebirth into his self-proclaimed destiny of unparalleled power. This transformation was not just a name change. It was a psychological divorce from his past, emphasizing his desire to be perceived as an entirely new, formidable entity. His Gaunt family lineage, a line known for its unstable magical power and fierce adherence to pure-blood ideology, certainly contributed to his inherent predisposition for darkness and his thirst for control, influencing his worldview from a young age. Ultimately, understanding Voldemort's deep-seated fear of death and his unwavering belief in his own magical superiority reveals the tragic irony of his life. His relentless pursuit of absolute power was, in essence, a desperate, misguided attempt to fill a void of fear and loneliness, and to overcome the perceived vulnerabilities that made him feel human. It highlights how unchecked ambition, coupled with an absence of love and empathy, can lead even the most gifted to a path of utter destruction, not just for others, but ultimately for themselves.